Hello, today I am going to show you how to get a ring prepared within the B9 Create 2.0 software to print using our FastWax resin. The reason why we are making this video is because to print properly within FastWax, you have to change how you support the ring. You can't use how you used to support a ring within emerald or yellow because FastWax is a different formulation of resin, so it requires a slightly different approach in order to get successful prints. The ring that I'm going to show how to support today is our Matrix Signet ring, which is like a class ring type style ring. I'm going to go ahead and open that onto my build table here. That part is just the same as any other ring or any other print. So once I have the ring on my build table, I'm going to go ahead and center it and zoom in a little bit. First thing I'm going to do is turn the model to the side and click on it. And I know for this ring, I need to tip it forward like so in order for it to print properly. So once I've done that, I'm going to turn the ring back to the front. And then I'm going to make sure that it is just slightly above the build table. So my goal is to get the part as close to the build table as possible and then just raise it up just a little bit. That's because those first few layers while on our printer come out at a different dimension because it cures longer. So you don't want the bottom part of your ring to be a different size. So then once I have the ring ready to support, I am going to come over here and click supports. And then my ring is ready to start adding supports. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add support mirroring at the Y axis. This is going to enable me to do add supports to both sides of the ring, but only need to add them. Click on one side. The next step before I start adding supports is under support preset. I'm going to change this drop down and make sure that it is set to thin. If you're using tiny, you are going to have prints fail to come out either the right shape or they're just going to fail completely because the support doesn't work. So FastWax is very soft while it prints, and if the support is too skinny, it is going to wiggle while it prints, and it's not going to stay connected to the model or to itself during the print process, and then you're going to end up with the support not doing its job by the time it gets to the ring. So now I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and my goal is going to be start adding supports simply by pointing and clicking. I'm going to start around the bottom edge of the ring, and as you can see, I'm adding quite a few supports here. So as I'm going around, we are just supporting this, and you are adding way more supports than you would with a different type of resin. And that is because, again, the resin is soft, so you have to do it this way in order for the ring to print successfully. And it's not just rings, it's any part. So coming down around, and as you can see, as I'm adding supports on this side, the supports are automatically adding to the other side, so that's a handy trick here. So now that I've done the bottom part, I'm also going to come up here and start adding supports up on this side. So even though it is already colored green in these spots, I know because FastWax struggles with the support being soft and pulling off on the model, I am going in and adding extra supports. Now I'm also going to spin around, and I need to get under the shank here. So I'm going to get this edge, and then I'm also going to come down and support right through here, because this also needs to get proper supports. And then I'm also going to add another row of supports right through this middle here, so there's proper support under there. Now one other thing is I'm going to look at the ring from upside down, and then I'm going to use this handy sectioning tool right here. This is the Z. I'm going to move this up just a little bit so it will hide the bottom part of the ring. Now I need to come in here and add adequate supports inside of the shank, because it will also need adequate supports in here in order to print properly. Now while I'm doing this, you may wonder what kind of rings or parts that you should use FastWax for. You should only use FastWax for parts that are not terribly thin and also parts that aren't intricate. Now, I don't not to be confused with detail. Intricate meaning like if it's has a lot of little thin sections within the ring or the model. Anything that's too thin is you're going to struggle with FastWax printing properly because it's not going to stay connected to itself while it's printing or while you're trying to clean it. It's going to potentially break apart. And you're just going to struggle with getting that part to print within FastWax. And that's when you would want to go back to using one of our traditional yellow or emerald resins. So now that I have the ring supported, I can turn off my Y. I re-added my support bases. I just had them turned off previously. But now as you can look around, you'll see that the ring has adequate supports all over. So then the next part is you just slice your ring and then you load it to your printer and you are ready to print your ring within FastWax. Hello, today I'm going to show you how to support a halo style ring using our FastWax resin. I'm going to demo this on a B Core 550, but this method will work for all of our Core series printers. So as you can see, I already have a ring on my build table and I have it upside down. The reason why I chose to print this ring upside down is because the halo, or the more detailed portion of the ring, will print better if it's lower to the build table. With FastWax, this is the best way to set things up if you can get the more complicated part lower to the build table. So the first thing I'm going to do, I already have my support tab selected. I'm going to turn the ring upside down so I can look at it from the bottom, and then I'm going to zoom in. Then I'm going to come over here to my support presets. First thing I'm going to do is change this drop down to tiny. The reason why I'm picking tiny is because I need to support these prongs. So there's 4 of them, so I'm going to support each prong. As you can see, I'm going to support just the very end of it. And then what I'm going to recommend is turning off your support bases so you can have them hidden. Now leaving it on tiny, I'm then going to go in and start supporting all of these smaller prongs on the ring. The reason why I'm supporting all of the smaller ones is because they are all considered an overhang. So they're all going to need to have a small support in order to print properly. And the reason why I chose tiny for the part on the lower end is so there's minimal support scarring. So when you go to clean or post-process your part, you're going to have very small support scarring left behind on your ring. So then you want to just kind of back out and take a look, make sure everything looks good. So that it should be good for all of those overhangs on the very bottom. The next step is going to come over here to your support preset and change it to thin. Then I'm going to use my support or my sectioning plane, and I'm going to grab the Z at the bottom and I'm going to move this up just a bit. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I am going to now come up here and add some supports at the top of the shank. So let me go ahead and zoom in here. And we're going to add a support right there. We're going to add a support over here. Probably one right about here. And I'm going to put one over here in the corner and one right there. Now I'm going to zoom back out. And I'm going to give this a look from this angle. And what my goal is to try to get these supports that to go and come down through the middle of the halo or to connect to the top of the halo. So like this one here, I'm actually going to redo here. That one was a little too close to the side of the halo, so that wouldn't do its job correctly. So I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to add one more support just a little bit closer. That way it gets into the right spot there. And then I'm gonna do this and look at it from the top again. And that looks good. So at this point the ring is ready to slice. So I would go ahead and slice this ring and it would be ready to go. Now again with FastWax you're going to see your volume indicator up here in the top left corner. Once you're done supporting the ring, this is the number that you would use to calculate how much resin you would put in your vat. Also, it is totally fine that your shank is still on the ring up at the top. That part can still be printed just like this. I've printed this ring successfully several times in this manner, so you don't have to remove the shank. All right, thank you, and you have a wonderful day.